This video, I'm going to show you how to add creases and surface imperfections onto your stickers inside Cinema 4D and Redshift. This will also be a good introduction on how to add surface imperfections onto your materials in general. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so even before going into Cinema 4D, we want to create our textures for the project. These are all prepared in Photoshop and they are all alpha transparent PNGs, and I recommend creating them in a 1:1 format. In my case, these are all 600 by 600 pixels. So I have the main color texture here, which will be the sticker, and then I have one imperfection scratch map and one which has the creases on top of it, which will become our bump map. I downloaded all these textures from Google. You can just Google creased paper texture or imperfection map, and you'll find a bunch of paid or free textures that you can download. Okay, so after creating our textures, it's time to get into Cinema 4D, where I already have our metal bottle set up here. So now we want to create a material for our sticker. So let's go to Material Manager, create materials, material, open it, press C on the keyboard to bring up texture, and then find our texture. Press yes, okay. And I'm going to press C again and bring up our color splitter. Connect out color to input and out alpha to opacity, and then out color to color. And now we have our basic sticker texture. I'm going to drag it to our object layer here, and I'm going to change our projection to flat, side to front, turn off tile, and for coordinates, I'm going to scale it down to 100 millimeters. By the way, I've covered this method of material stacking much more in depth in another tutorial video that I've made. I've included the link in the description below if you want to check it out. Alright, so next let's add some surface imperfection onto our sticker here, because right now it's too clean and pristine. So let's go back onto our material node editor, and I'm going to first play around with the reflection roughness. So let's press C again and find the max on noise. And if we press solo on the node here, we can see the pattern the max on noise has at the moment. And let's exit that and plug it onto our reflection roughness. Okay, so hopefully the YouTube compression doesn't ruin this, but hopefully you can see that we've now added a subtle texture onto our sticker here. And in case you don't understand how the reflection roughness works, anything which is 100% black that is plugged into our reflection roughness node will translate as 100% reflective, and vice versa, 100% white will translate as 100% non-reflective or rough. And anything in between, like the grays we see here, will also correspond to their corresponding reflectiveness. Okay, so let's unsolo our max on noise. Okay, so following on from what we just learned, if we want to adjust the reflectiveness and unreflectiveness of the sticker, we can modify our max on noise. So if we press C and bring up color correct and connect our max on noise onto it, and replace our reflection roughness with the color correct, and go to solo, we can increase our contrast so that the blacks are blacker and the whites are whiter. And now if we unsolo it, we'll see that where the blacks were, we'll get a higher reflectiveness, and where the whites were, we'll get a higher unreflectiveness. So I'll just make it a bit less extreme than before and move on. All right, now it's time to add our creases onto our sticker. So let's press C and bring up texture again. And we're going to find our around the world creases texture. Press yes, okay. And press C again to bring up bump map. Connect our texture onto our input and connect our output to our bump map. And now we can see that the bump is on the wrong direction. So for the height scale, we can reverse it to -1. And now we see that we have our creases coming out. And right now it's a little bit too extreme. So we can make it, let's say, -0.3. And this looks a lot more natural. Okay, so now we're going to add some scratches onto our sticker. So if you imagine scratching out the paint in a real life sticker, we're going to see the white paper that it was printed on. So let's create that white material now. So go to C, Material, Material. And for color, I'm going to make it off-white because nothing in real life is ever a perfect white. And I'm going to bring reflection all the way down to 0 because we don't have that shiny coat anymore. And I'm going to mix these two in with a material blender. So press C, search for a material blender. And I'm going to connect our original material onto our base material and our new material onto our layer 1 material color and connect it to our surface. And right now, nothing's going to change because we need to add our blend color here, which is going to be the scratch map that we made earlier. So press C, bring up a texture node again, and find our around the world scratches. Okay. And if we solo our new texture here, we'll see the issue of the transparency hasn't translated onto our texture node. And a workaround I've found is to connect it to a color layer. And we connect it to layer 1 color, not the base layer. And if we press solo again, we'll see that the alpha is now working. And now we want to connect our color layer to our blend color. And you see that the white material is starting to come out. And to give you an understanding of what exactly is going on here, our color layer that is connected onto our blend color is acting as a mask for our new white material here. So if we solo this, we can see that the lighter areas, it's helping to bring our white material through, and whatever is black is helping to block it. And right now, because our white value is not 100% white, we only have the material. So if we want to increase that contrast, like we did with the reflection roughness node, we can add in a color correct node. So press C again and bring up our color correct. And we'll connect our color layer onto input and replace our blend color with the color correct. And now we can play around with the gamma and also the contrast values. So I'm going to solo it again. And if we increase the contrast and also the gamma value at the same time, we can make it a bit more extreme. And if we unsolo this, you see that we have now this nice scratched effect happening onto our sticker here. And if we want to introduce an animation, just like I did in the example, we can just keyframe our gamma and have it increase slowly over time. Okay, so this is how you add the scratches imperfection onto the sticker. And lastly, don't forget to also add the bump map onto our second material here. So that the bump is also going to carry on over where the scratches are. So that's the end of the tutorial. Hope you like it. And if you've created something cool from this, feel free to send me a message on Instagram. I love to see it. Have a good day. In this video, I'm going to show you how to add creases and surface imperfections in Misha. Hey.